Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If it's not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, let's go ahead and start this reading. I'm going to just start pulling some cards. Um, Pisces, this reading is for you. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for people who just find themselves on my videos with no Pisces anything and you're resonating. The message is for you. So I'm told the weight of this is just too much. Whatever it is you're going through, it's too much. It's pushing you too far. Um, Pisceans and empaths are very accustomed to really just going above and beyond for other people. Like it's no big deal, but it is a big deal. It is a big deal. You don't give yourself enough credit for the things that you do, what you endure for other people without them really even knowing. You know, most of the time people have no most of the time people have no idea how above and beyond you have gone for them. They don't know because you don't tell them. Oh, my cards are stuck. Let's just push that back down. Let me just pull out the cards that I um okay. All right. Yeah. You don't tell them anything. You just do for so many people all the time, all the time. And I think it's become something that's just far too much at this point. You've probably felt like it was far too much for a long time already, but you haven't wanted to say anything. It's been something that's very difficult for you to talk about. And just because something is difficult for you to talk about doesn't mean it isn't something you aren't already thinking. So why do you continue to do this if it hurts you so much? If the people that you continue to do this for continue to make you feel as though you don't do enough, you're not enough, why continue with it? And please don't with the whole, but they're my child. If they are grown, if they are adults, you have to reestablish an adult connection with your adult child. Okay. Part of that, and I don't know where the hell this is coming from. Part of the problem there is that you are enabling bratty behavior by giving them the excuse that it's their child, it's your child, so you have to deal with their, you know, ungrateful behavior. And no, you don't. You don't. Oh, that's messed up, Emmy. Are you telling me to cut off my child? No, I'm telling you to reestablish an adult connection. Whatever I would never let an adult say or do to me, I would never let my child. And if, like, okay, so I have an 18-year-old, right? And he's really close to his dad. When he was a lot younger, we were very close. We're still close, but he knows there is a very clear distinction between the way you talk to me as your mother and the way you talk to other people. Daddy might be okay with you like using your lingo and vernacular, which is fine. That's fine. But if you're pissed off, you don't get to direct that at me. You don't. No. So one time a while back, I don't remember what he was pissed off about. He was pissed off about something. And he was talking to me kind of loud. He wasn't mad at me, but he was talking to me kind of loud. And I was like, you better rub your fucking eyes and recognize who you're talking to. Like, rub the fucking eyes. Recognize who you're fucking talking to. You can express yourself, but you're not going to be disrespectful to me just because someone else pissed you off. I don't fucking think so. Sorry, mom, I'm just really pissed off. Okay, so what are you pissed off about? What happened? Yeah, no, you're not going to talk to me like that. If I wouldn't accept it from a stranger, as your mother, I deserve more respect than that. Okay, and you should already instinctually know that. But they won't know that if we allow them to continue to believe it's okay to treat us with disrespect. So, as Pisceans, we tend to be old souls, and therefore, the people we deal with have a tendency to see us more as like a mother figure. Um, I know a lot of people see me like that. Like they don't see me as a friend, they see me as a mother figure to them. Like, no, I'm not your mom. You don't want me to be your mom. Um, okay. So, here goes. Rain. Pisces, you have been raining yourself out for so long. For so long. You've hollowed yourself out. You've cleansed yourself with the rain of your own tears. What are you going to do next? Hmm? What are you going to do next? Are you going to just continue to cry about what's hurting you and allow that to remain? Or are you going to, reestablish new boundaries for yourself within yourself? Like, no, this area of me, it's very sensitive. It's very, very sensitive. And this area of me is an area that only certain people are allowed to enter. And that's not being childish. That's not being immature. That's recognizing and protecting the sanctuary of your inner child. I never quite understood when people would force their children to do things that the children didn't want to do. That's how you set them up for other adults abusing them. I'm just saying that is. Like, if you tell my child to do something that doesn't resonate with them or they feel is inappropriate in any way, they'll tell you straight up and then they'll tell me. And I'll be like, well, I agree. I don't think that's right. You know, um, years ago, my toddler, I think he was two. I think he was two. My brother was being funny and he was telling him a joke. We were driving past the Oakland Harbor and he thought it would be funny. This is the dumbest joke ever. We have Chinese blood. Don't worry, it's not. So he tells my 2-year-old, hey, look at that. Look at those box cars. Chinese people come from box cars. He said they shipped them over from China in box cars. And my 2-year-old looked at him and immediately said, you're inappropriate. That was inappropriate. Very inappropriate. That was an inappropriate joke. When you teach your child, your biological child, adopted child, whatever, or your inner child, it is okay to express your discontent in a respectful way. Yeah, he told his uncle, "You're inappropriate." He didn't even hesitate. And my my brother was like, "I'm what? Oh my god, did you hear what your kid said to me?" Because we were in the car. I said, "Yeah, you are. You're inappropriate." That wasn't a funny joke. And my mom was in the front seat. She goes, "That's what you get. You want to say stupid things? That's what you get." And then my son was like, "You're very inappropriate." I am a kid. Yeah, yeah, you are. Hey, you have to allow your inner child to be able to speak its truth. It feels more deeply than you. Just like when, as a child, before people convinced you you are not allowed to feel this way, you are not allowed to hold yourself in this way, you have to allow other people to do this, this, and this to you. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Mm-mm. This is something, some sort of programming we have to undo. For some reason, those of us who are Piscean and those of us who are highly sensitive empaths, uh, we took in that programming far too deep, and it's become this really, really heavy, really, really dense rock that exists within the pit of our belly. That's inappropriate. That's an inappropriate way to exist. If you continue to eat the rocks that people throw at you, how could you ever expect to not have a bellyache? How could you ever expect to get through that ingestion of extremely dense, low frequency thoughts and programs? How do you expect to get through that unbothered? I mean, really, I don't know everything, but my logic, that type of existence, the only way you really are able to successfully get through that, and use the word success in a loose manner, um, is to take it in as your truth, and this is just how life is. This is how life is, and, I'm just really not worth it. It's fine. I'm not going to correct that distorted belief within me. I'm just gonna really take it in, and this is it is what it is. Um, some things are what they are, and many things are what we allow them to be. Is it what it is because there's no other way? Or is it what it is because we have chosen to give someone else our power and dictate to us, this is how it is, regardless of whether or not it resonates or is in alignment with your truth? Is it how it is? Or is it the way it is because we've allowed it? Is our environment mirroring? Is our environment a projection of our internal toxicity? Going back to the parenting thing, I observe parents quite a bit. I do. That's just I love children so much, and I observe the way people parent often. I'm not a perfect parent, but I'm a present one. And so, as I observe over the years, I've gotten quite a few people who come to me and tell me, like, oh my God, your children are so well behaved. Like, wow, my kids never listen. My kids this, my kids that. Um, have you looked at your attitude lately? I'm just saying. Um, have you looked at your attitude lately? Because the children take in your attitude. Not only are they born with your genetics, they fucking take in the behaviors they see you doing. They take that in. It becomes a part of them. So I sometimes when people used to test me, I used to be like, you have no fucking idea who my father is and what I'm capable of. Keep testing me. Give me a fucking reason to take my childhood out on you. And I'd be like, whoa, you're fucking crazy. Got that right. Mm-hmm. Keep on keeping on. See what the fuck happens. See what the fuck happens. If you don't know my history, if you're unfamiliar with my pedigree, don't keep fucking with the dog. I'm just saying. So, this is what happens. You're a product of your environment, which then causes you to create the same environment and produce children who are forced to live in that same environment. At some point, you're going to break that cycle. If that's the only life you know, it's time to live a new life. Oh, but that's being fake. No, it's being real. What's being fake is continuing to live in a way that's not in alignment with your truth and your needs. That's being fake. That's being a martyr. Excuse me. Transformation pressure. There's a lot of pressure in the transformation that many of us are going through. A lot of pressure to a lot of pressure to just be what we think other people want us to be. That sets you up for tremendous amounts of stress, tremendous potential for disappointment, disappointing yourself, disappointing other people. It's just such a vicious, ugly, ugly, self abusive cycle. If you can get yourself to see you are who you are with space to improve, space to be further refined by your soul, by your life circumstance, all these things you experience, I am who I am. I am who I am. I'm going to continue to grow. I've been growing my entire life. What I might not be able to handle now, I might have been able to handle before, meaning I used to be able to tolerate that and now I can't. Um, what I might think of myself now, I might not think of myself later. The way I see myself, the way I see the world, all of that, it will continue to change as long as I continue to grow. And if I'm continually growing, I'm continually changing. I should never, ever, ever force myself to remain stagnant. static for other people's preference. Oh, you've changed, Emmy. You're a different person. This is not who you were before. Well, yeah, you think you're my friend, but you need me to stay stagnant there with you. That's not friendship. It's not. If you want to continue to who ride with me, you got to change too. Do I dictate how that changes? No. But I'm not joining you in that same stagnant, static place. I am a dynamic flow of energy. I will continue to refine myself through every single experience of my life. And if you can't exist in that way, if they can't exist in that way with you, they don't need to be with you. Whether that's a relationship that is romantic, a relationship that's a friendship, what are you loyal to here? Are you loyal to yourself? Or are you loyal to someone outside of you? And that loyalty to someone outside of you, are you only loyal because it's been so long? I mean, let's take a look at Cancer. Are you loyal to Cancer because, there's been a tumor growing in you for several years now, but no, I can't give up on it now. I can't cut that out. We gotta leave that in there. I mean, it's been so long. If that relationship, regardless of romance or platonic state, if that connection is a toxicity, why are you holding on to it? Have you ever seen those videos of people who have had tumors for like years upon years, double digit number years? And it's huge. It's like on their body. Like that gotta be painful to deal with day in and day out. And come to find out it is. It's very uncomfortable, very painful for them to deal with it. And then I find myself being very, very judgmental. Like, how the fuck do you allow that shit for so many years? Like, it looks like you have a basketball under your skin. How the fuck do you allow that? And then I find myself thinking about, well, girl, isn't that what you did with so many of your friendships and relationships? You allowed that shit for so many years and it was so painful and uncomfortable and obviously extremely unhealthy. Yet you covered it with your skin of love and you just pretended like it was okay. Mhm. Have you been doing that? Do you have a cancerous relationship with somebody and this has just overgrown and overgrown and overgrown and become something so toxic and ugly. But because it's been years, let's just leave it. The next time you have that thought, because it's been so many years, I've invested so much time. You also invested so much time and effort feeding that cancer that you've kept. And that's a really harsh thing to say, but I'm in a harsh ass mood. I'm in a really harsh ass mood. Not angry, just viciously truthful. Because the world has caused us to believe that if the message is too truthful, if it's not sugar coated enough, then it's just no, I don't want to hear it. Well, if you don't want to hear it, you need to be somewhere else, right? Because this is where you will hear it. This is where you're going to hear it because you're going to experience a level of love that you haven't experienced before, where I can actually say to you what I actually mean and give you the freedom to do with it whatever you want to do with it. So, life, breath. In order to truly live, you don't just breathe, you also need a heart. Breath is your spoken word. Unless that spoken word flows with your heart energy, what are you really talking about? What are you really talking about? Are you just talking to hear yourself? Are you talking to hear yourself regurgitate someone else's thoughts? What is it about? Are you talking because you're communicating? You need to communicate this need, you need to share this thought. Um I mean, really, what is it? Do you know the root of what your behaviors are? Like, I had to spend quite a bit of my time to really sit and analyze my life to see where my behaviors come from. Okay, I get it. That behavior stems from this part of my life where I was hurt in this way. And that was my coping mechanism. That's how I began to try and convince myself that we can survive this. We can survive our life. We can survive the things that other people do to me. Failing to realize at that time, I was passively allowing it. So here's the thing. I tell this to my husband, going back to the child rearing. Um, children are children, right? Sometimes they'll put their toys away, oftentimes they won't, and then things become messy. That makes me feel very rattled. Um, and then everyone feels like shit being around me. I'm like, I can't function like this. I can't function like this. It's too much for me. And I find there are times where my husband will be like, "You guys never clean up." And while he's saying this, because he's legitimately upset that I'm getting all flustered, uh, not at me, but he likes to keep me in a very like um, calm, nice environment so that I'll be nice and calm. So he's all upset and he's like telling the kids, like, "You guys never clean up your toys, this and that." Mind you, while he's doing this, he's cleaning up for them. No, I don't think so. How the fuck are they supposed to learn? Like, no. Leave all that stuff exactly where it is. Begin telling children, "Hey, you, this is your stuff. Bring it to your room. You, this is your stuff. Hang it up." Why do we do this? As Pisceans and empaths, why do we do this? We talk, 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 but our actions tell them, "It's okay, I'll do it. It's okay, I'll do it. I'll handle it. I'll take care of it." And I still do this too. I really, not with my kids, but I find myself doing these same types of behaviors still. Well, where my words will tell you one thing, but my actions will convince you of another. Like, "Yeah, you're very toxic to me, but oh, hey, let me fix this. Let me just fix this for you." No, 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 it's okay. I'll do it for you. Don't worry. But my words are going to tell you, like, "Why you keep fucking up? Look at this shit." No. When I catch myself doing that, I put everything down. "You know what? I'm sorry. I was taking this opportunity for you to learn away from you. You go ahead and do it yourself. You go ahead and do it yourself. Yeah, go ahead and do it yourself. I'm going to just kind of sit back down. This is not for me to do for you." So, all right. Oh, this is a very strong message. Card number 19, feel loved and proud. Card number 30, serendipity merge with the flow. Card number 16, embrace oneness with the universe. Are you able to exist in a way where you can remain separate as a part of your uniqueness, but also allow yourself to receive? Where we can separate this concept of being loved and expressing love in a way that's healthy. Like, a healthy love is allowing people to love on you, support you, receiving that support, receiving that love, receiving the gifts, whatever gifts they give you. Whereas an unhealthy love would be like, if you're going to give me something, and I'm so guilty of this. If you're going to give me something, I'm going to give you something as well. And I have to give you more than what you gave me, because a large part of me doesn't trust anyone. A large part of me has been conditioned to believe that if you give me something, there are always strings attached. And I cannot allow you to own me in that way. I cannot allow you and the way you try and love me to shackle me around my neck. I have to be free. So I can't ever allow myself to receive, because if I receive that, I have to give just as much, if not more, usually more. So you can't ever hold it over my head. And I know I'm not the only one that does this. And I didn't realize I was still doing it until a really good friend gave me something. And yes, I was already going to give them what I was going to give them. And then I realized, because she said something, she's like, "Oh my God, I knew she was going to give me something too." Oh, damn, I'm still doing it. Oh my gosh. The people who truly love you will be able to point out these ways in a loving way, because it wasn't said in a mean way at all. At all. And I think that's why I was able to receive it the way I did. Um yeah, it's ugly when we do this, you guys. It's ugly. Like, when I find myself doing that, over the years, it's like I've had this feeling of like, why am I like this? Why am I like this? Why can't I ever just and the same thing with the weight of someone giving me a compliment. Like, if you were to tell me, "Oh, you look pretty today." "Oh, it's because I washed my face and I brushed my hair and I actually put on some." And one of my, someone I knew years ago, he was like that's it. He went like that, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And, he goes, "Why can't you ever just take a compliment?" Uh, what? What? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I was just like, what do you mean?" I don't get it. Like, every time someone compliments you, this was a photographer that, what I became friends with for a short period so that we could, like, talk about photography and stuff, and anytime he would compliment my work, I would have something to say to efface, to like, "No, no, no, it's not me." And finally, he just got irritated with it, and, he's English. He's like, "Why you like that?" I was like, "What? What do you mean? Why am I like what? You can't you need to learn how to take a compliment. You need to learn to be grateful that other people value you in that way and are vocalizing it." And I never quite understood that. Like, why is it so offensive to you that I'm explaining to you why you don't need to tell me something that makes me uncomfortable because there's an explanation. And he's like, "There's no need to explain." Because to me, it was like I needed to explain why you would possibly think that, because that's kind of like my way of explaining away how your personal beliefs are invalidated. I did not realize that's what I was doing. I was invalidating your personal beliefs. I was telling you, "No, you're wrong. I'm actually not that pretty. It's just I put on makeup today. No, you're wrong. My work isn't actually that amazing. It's just I learned how to work Photoshop. No, you're wrong. It's just no, you're wrong. It's just no, you're wrong." And how about what if you're wrong? What if at some point in your life you have to just recognize, some people will think I'm pretty. Some people will really, really value my work. Some people will this, some people will that. 63% at 9/11. Michael says I still do that. Did not realize. He says I still do that, and I've just gotten a lot better at deflecting and negating your personal opinions. He says I do this when people tell me, like, "You've changed my life. It's because of you." And I'm like, "No, you did it your damn self." Which there is truth to that. But it also invalidates your belief that I somehow positively contributed to your journey, things that maybe would have taken you many more years to come to the same conclusions of, or maybe there was enough distortions from earlier life where it would have been very difficult to you for you to understand these things. Um, this is shadow self work. How is this shadow self work? Well, this is your greatness being hidden once again. Like you hiding the fact that you do have this effect on other people, that you are valued in that way. Why do we have to hide that fact? Acknowledgement of your greatness does not equate the negation of someone else's. That's a competition comparison mindset, which is a major component of this false king of tyranny matrix that we exist within. We are attached to a matrix that really, really perpetuates, encourages, programs all of us to be competitive as well as comparative, where we will compare ourselves to other people. We will compare people to people. And I don't necessarily know how that can help with a reunification process. And it's not to say that I have evolved enough that I no longer participate in that. There are times where I still find myself neck deep in that shit, like this bitch. Speaking of myself, this bitch, why are you still behaving that way? What is wrong with you? You moody again? And there I go, comparing myself in the now to a version of myself that at some point I believed was an elevated version of me. In reality, there's no elevation of me. I'm just me. It's my perception of the value of the aspects of me that come forward that determine how I value myself in that moment. And you deserve to be valued always. You do. You deserve to be valued by you through all your moods, all your stages, all these different places within you that you exist. Shitty attitude, Emmy, is just as authentic and valuable as soft spoken Emmy, who's trying to softly, gently encourage you, coax you out of your shell. They're both equally potent, equally important, and should be equally valued for very different reasons. For very different reasons. So here's the thing. Have you ever spoken to someone, or do you know someone who's monotone? Their tone never changes. Um, it's kind of really boring to talk to them. That's fucked up to say, but I'm just kind of speaking some of my opinions. Like, it's very difficult for me to talk to people who are monotone because I can't, it feels like a lie because I'm so highly empathic. It feels like a lie. Like, I can feel you're fucking pissed, but you're like, yeah, no, it was fucked up. And, whatever, it's no big deal. But I can feel it's a big deal. So then when your energy doesn't match your words, that doesn't match the way you express those words, it takes me a while longer to kind of reconcile the differences between those things because knee jerk reaction, you're a fucking liar. You're lying. You're lying to me. And I don't like liars. I don't. It's extremely hard for me to tolerate that. Like, knee jerk reaction is to yell, you're a fucking liar. And I have to tell myself, like, just because they're uncomfortable with fluctuations in their ability to communicate does not mean they're a liar. Like, you need to calm the fuck down. You need to ask more questions if you really need to know. And if they don't want to tell you, then you need to respect that. That doesn't mean they're a liar. It just means you're highly sensitive and you need to respect the fact that someone else is at a different place in their journey. So now, what do we need to do? We need to continue that shadow self work. We need to allow ourselves to really, really be immersed in whatever it is, what part of us has stepped forward. You have so many different parts that will step forward at different times in your life. Just because you have different aspects of yourself does not mean any part of you is fake. People often accuse Pisceans of being fake and, you just playing a role and this and that. Why? Because you're static? Because you have the courage for only one aspect of you to be seen? Because you are personally afraid that if people see all these fluctuations in your moods, in your personality, that you're going to be crazy. Well, guess what? Pisceans are always called crazy, anyways. So, yeah, the fear of that, I mean, that's our norm. So, who cares now? Who cares? Let me just go ahead and be who I am. Let me just go ahead and be who I am. Do you know how liberating that is? How freeing, how empowering it is to just be who you are. And I say this as someone who's existed as a Stepford soul for pretty much most of my life. It's only within the past, oh gosh, it's at least less than 10 years. Less than 10 years. I want to say since about 2013. Since about 2013, um, I have been diluting myself and causing myself to feel way worse about me than I actually even need to. It's not even necessary. Just for the sake of being able to force people to see me in the way that I've decided they will see me. Yeah. I still distinctly remember my ex-sister-in-law who's still my sister. um yeah, she had added me on Facebook. We had lost touch for quite a few years and she added me on Facebook. And she privately messaged me and she goes, "Oh my God, you're so fucking funny. I didn't realize how funny you are." Because I would just post nothing but sarcastic shit day in and day out. And I was like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, I've always just known you to be serious." Really? And I look back and I'm like, oh, yeah, she's only ever seen me serious. Most people have never seen me joking around because, heaven forbid, I be seen as funny. Heaven forbid someone sees me outside of this brand that I'm trying to create for myself for no fucking reason. This brand of I am a crunchy granola mom. I cook everything from scratch from whole food ingredients, not the store. I'm talking about wholesome ingredients. I have a very robust vernacular. I speak in a way that really, really communicates my elevation of intelligence. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, no, there's so many different aspects of me that I kept hidden away because I felt no one else would value it. When in reality, they didn't need another person that made them feel less than, less smart than me, less put together than me. A lot of people found it very, very difficult to be around me when it came to parenting. Was it because I would put them down? No, it's because they would compare themselves to me. I don't know how many other women who have 1 millimeter away from a fourth degree laceration after giving birth, wearing two baby carriers, tribal bear baby carriers, toddler in my back, newborn in the front, with several other children, going groceries at Costco less than a week after I've gotten home from the hospital. They're like, oh my God, you're like supermom. And to me, that's not supermom. That's just being a mom. Like, that's the kind of mom I am. I wake up early so that I can make their food. All their snacks are made from scratch. Like everything. And everyone had this belief of something that just wasn't, it just wasn't. I wasn't a Pinterest mother. I just wasn't. I did these things out of love, and people saw it in a different way. They saw it in a different way. It was an expression of my superiority in some way, and it alienated quite a few people. And I couldn't understand it. It was a reflection of my own internal insecurities, where there were so many different things that I was insecure about regarding me and my decision to be a full-time mom. And I felt like I had to overcompensate for the fact that I chose to be a stay-at-home mother. Whereas all my other friends, they would work and they could afford all of these trips and all these, fancy toys for their kids. And I'm just over here fucking grinding my own flour. Well, yeah, that was me overcompensating. That was me overcompensating. I can look back and see that now, but in that moment, I couldn't see any of that. I couldn't see any of that because I was so caught up in the distorted weight of my expectations of myself. I had to be the perfect wife. I had to be the perfect everything. Why is that? Because I really took into my core my childhood that told me I had to be always the smartest, always the prettiest, always the one who appeared to have the most material. And most of that I didn't really resonate with anymore, but I always had to be the most of something. And if I'm going to be a mom, then I have to be the most mom I could possibly be. And everyone needs to be able to witness this so they can externally validate my internal insecurities. Quiet it down a little bit. Are you doing this? Maybe not as a mom, maybe as a human being, as someone who is attempting to become more spiritual, failing to realize you already are. Are you still doing this? Is this something you haven't yet identified within yourself? It took me many, many years to recognize what I was doing. And all of those years where my husband was telling me, like, you need to chill. Like, not everyone can be like you. Not everyone can this, not everyone can that. And it used to just piss me off because, like, what the fuck are you trying to say? I'm not an elitist. Oh, but I was. But I was. I was in a competition with myself. And the competition had a lot to do with other people recognizing without me trying to get them to recognize that I have evolved into something much more elevated than the person I was last week, last year, whatever it is. I was in a competition with myself. A lot of Pisceans, and especially empaths, we struggle with a debilitating case of perfectionism. Why is that? because we can feel other people's expectation of us, and we don't ever want to disappoint them the way the world consistently disappoints us. And that's why we do it. So, how about this? Instead of trying to do this for someone else, stop disappointing yourself. And everything will very much quiet down and fall into its proper place. And then you can begin living again, not just existing to garner more external validation that further feeds your internal insecurities. Hmm, that's hard. That's hard. In order to do this, you have to live your life with gratitude. You have to walk your truth. You have to be thankful for the truth that is your human history. People be like, "Oh my god, I mean, wow, I could never admit these things about myself. Like, holy shit, I totally resonate, but it embarrasses me. I don't want people to know." Well, part of my personal healing process was finding a way to overcome my embarrassment for being who I am. All that shit that I used to do, all those quirks would come out as part of an expression, a symptomatic expression of my internal disease. um I still have those as parts of me, but now those parts of me are not diseased. They help to contribute to the whole that I am. I am a whole person. I don't need to be afraid that other people will find out about the ways in which I've grown. I can still cook like a mofo. Very healthy food. You have a food allergy, I can find the substitute for that, and I can make you the foods that you love minus the things you can no longer have. That's not a weakness. At one point, I used to see that as how I used to overcompensate because I was told I was being a lazy mother by not sending my children to daycare and earning the money to be able to buy them the toys that they want, just like other children. When I closed my ears to the bullshit of other people's insecurities that they were projecting onto me, I began to understand no matter what I decide, no matter what I do, I am a damn good mother to my children. I am a damn good mother to my children. And there's no one that can ever take that from me but me. The moment I begin to do things that will affect the trajectory of their growth because it's an expression of my own insecurities, that then takes me down several notches in my motherhood. That's why I stopped forcing the kids to use hand sanitizer all the fucking time after washing their hands. Heaven forbid you have any drop of anything on your clothes. You can't just change the bib. You have to change the bib, the shirt, the pants, the fucking matching socks, the matching crib shoes. And now I have to switch to another baby bag because nothing matches. That's my own insecurity. That's something I need to deal with on my own. And you have things that you need to deal with on your own in the presence of other people. That's how you reclaim yourself. That's how you take ownership of your human history and release the weight of that obligation of being perfect. No matter how hard you try, there will be people who will not see you as perfect. No matter how hard you try. No matter how hard you try. And some of the most healing things that I've experienced with my children is the fact that no matter how much I mess up, like, you're such a good mom. They tell me that. Mm. That's profound. When your child can see the needs of the mother without the mother saying a single thing, and knowing that in this moment, this powerful woman feels very weak. And to know, even at a young age, I need to remind her of her power. You're a good mom. To be able to step into other roles that your soul has asked you to step into, and to have done your part in their early upbringing to the point where they know a truth that sometimes is hard for you to see within yourself. That's powerful. I switched from looking for external validation from other people to allowing my children to be a reflection of my truth. That's powerful. To have the very people, the very human beings that have been present for so much of my life at this point, um, to be the very truth that I can't hear coming from my own mouth. That's powerful. That's really, really powerful. So maybe it's time for us to recognize we're always gonna, if you have this need for external validation, you probably will always have that need. But maybe it's time to shift the way that need is fulfilled, you know? Maybe it's time to shift it because I could have easily been like, I remember one time this conversation took place where I was in tears because I felt like I wasn't being fully present anymore. I had been working about 16 to 18-hour shifts every day when I first began this company. Um, Heaven forbid I'm not available for a complete stranger to message me at 2 or 3 a.m. and talk to me for hours on end about their personal life because I had to save everybody. And I left no time for my children. And so it left me at some point in tears, like I'm not a present mother anymore. Like, what the fuck has happened? I don't know what my kids' favorite TV shows are. I don't know what toys they're talking about. I don't know any of that. And I started crying. And one of my youngest, he was still a toddler. He held me by my face and he told me, "You're still a good mom. It's okay, mommy. A lot of people need you and we have to be patient." A toddler. He told me that. And so I cried harder. And to help calm me in my tears, he told me it's okay because I picked a good daddy for him. He has a very good daddy. And daddy takes care of everything that mommy used to take care of so that now mommy can help other people. And what if this is an analogy for your inner child? What if your inner child has been patient this entire time as you help everyone else? And when I heard those words, I stopped answering messages on Messenger. I allowed myself to finally begin receiving the proper compensation that I needed. Because people will continue to take and take and take from you. Doesn't mean they're bad people. Because everyone has this logic. I'm just one person. It's just 5 minutes. It's just 1 hour. God, why are you being so money hungry? You don't understand. There are a long line of people who want that 1 hour out of your day. And whatever you give to someone else, there's something in your life that will be lacking because you gave it to someone else. You gave it to someone else. And it took me getting to a point where the weight of that, recognizing the weight of my expectation of the way I believed my purpose would be fulfilled, that's what was crushing me. It wasn't my children's disappointment in me. It was my disappointment in myself for not having enough of myself to go around to everybody. And this is not a story that's unique to me. This is a Piscean thing. This is an empath thing. This is a starseed thing. This is a healer thing. This is a shaman thing. It's just a thing. To us, it's just a thing. It's something that we consistently go through very silently without even acknowledging for ourselves that we're going through this. And then it becomes a thing that is more than just a thing because now we're so bitter with life. People always just use us, do they? Or are you using yourself? Are you volunteering consistently for things you don't need to volunteer for because you need that hit of validation from someone else? These are the things you need to become aware of because this is the weight that you carry. You have this rucksack of emotions that you carry around with you. And the more you condense it and condense it and condense it, the more dense it becomes, the heavier it weighs on you and your shoulders, the more it becomes a hindrance rather than something that empowers you. Those emotions that you keep in that rucksack, you're not supposed to not have a rucksack. That rucksack that you carry is supposed to contain within it the tools that help you to go from survival to thriving. If you don't know how to use those tools and you just collect them, you're now a hoarder. And as a hoarder of emotions that are not processed, you are needing more space. So you condense it and it becomes dense. It becomes something solid, like a brick, very heavy, very cumbersome. And then we're left wondering why life feels so heavy. It feels heavy because we carry all the weight from every circumstance in our life, including all the weight from everyone who has crossed our path. We carry all of that weight for no other reason than because we volunteered to. And I'm not talking about volunteered on a soul level. I'm talking about volunteered based off of a distorted mindset that was installed since childhood. I cannot say this enough times. Pisceans and empaths, you do not have to be apologetic for existing. You don't have to go out of your way to make up for the fact that you exist. Thank you, Emmie. You don't. You just don't. You don't have to be sorry for recognizing the greatness that you are because, I mean, unless you're bragging, recognition of your parts has nothing to do with other people. Valuing yourself has nothing to do with other people. It doesn't tear anyone else down. I used to have a lot of people who would be like, this attitude of like, if I share my children's accomplishment, if I feel proud of them and I share it, people get all upset. Why? Just because I'm sharing a moment where it's very clear that my child has exceptional levels of intelligence does not mean I'm somehow underhandedly saying your kid is stupid. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. There will always be people who exist who think that, where if you share anything about yourself, um, they think you're bragging. Are you? Or is that a person having a hard time celebrating you? And usually these people who do this, they're very, very mute when it comes to good things that you share. But the moment you share something that they can tear you down for, oh my God. Hella commenting, crawling out of their freaking caves, the gutters from which they exist, just to comment on how you're fucking up. Wow. Um, I wouldn't value the trolls. Yeah. Keep no room for people like that in your life. None. None. There's no need for that unless you think you need that to grow yourself. And I promise you, you really don't. That belief that you need that type of challenge to grow yourself, that unnecessary challenge to grow yourself, it comes from your desire to punish yourself. I know because I used to do that. I used to value the words of people like that much more than the words of people who uplift me, who inspire me, who encourage me, who validate me. I used to value those words more. And it was because it gave me an excuse to further punish myself. So reclaim your power, trust in the magic, Trust the great mystery. You're not supposed to know everything about your life. You're not. You're supposed to live everything about your life, not know everything about your life. Ooh, trust that you're protected. Walk on a path of light. Deep blue dragon. So, Pisceans, empaths, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. It's already happening. It's been happening. It's probably going to further amplify and escalate. There will be those who will try and tear you down. Either the roundabout way, this is a narcissist behavioral pattern. They will go to everyone else and try and villainize you to everyone else. Fuck those people. The ones who are doing this and the ones who listen to them. You don't need that kind of toxicity in your life. Fuck those people. Be your own dragon. Be your own protective energy. Clear your own path. Fuck those people. You don't need a ton of people to witness you. You just need to be present in your life. And just because a ton of people aren't witnessing you does not diminish your importance in this world. You exist, therefore you matter. The fact that you are here, especially the fact that you're sharing space with me, that tells me you have an elevated purpose in this life. It just does. Is that a roundabout way of me saying that I'm somehow important? No, that's a recognition of truth. Because not everyone can stomach the way I deliver truth. Not everyone is ready to hear the words that are being said. Thank you, Oracle. Thank you, Tick. Not everyone can hear it. Oh, trust me, a lot of people are irritated by me speaking the way I do. Fuck you. I will not withhold my normal, organic way of speaking. If you can't accept me as I am, get your sugar coating from someone else, because I'm not doing it for you. And that's what a lot of people are upset about. They don't like the fact that I'm not sugarcoating things, yet they can't get the kind of messages at the depth that I deliver from someone else. You either accept it as it is or you get it from somewhere else. That's that. That's just that. No. And you know why I take this stance now? It's because I lived my life as a Stepford soul for so long, and it didn't do me any good to imprison myself in my sovereignty for the comfort of other people. Hey, if your light shines so bright, they can look away. They can. At no point do you ever allow yourself to dim your shine for cave dwellers. They're so accustomed to being so devoid of truth and light that even at your dimmest is too bright for them. That's not your problem. That's not your problem. You're not here for that. You're absolutely not here for that. Golden Christed Dragon. What? Brings you higher love so that you embody the Christ light. Absorb the Christ light. You are protected. Expand your heart and remain fifth dimensional. We're already fifth dimensional. How about you elevate that? How about you elevate that even further? We're already anchored in the fifth. How about we anchor even higher so we can begin living fifth dimensional? And I'm not talking about that fifth dimensional bullshit that people in spiritual communities talk about all the time. This concept of, oh, I'm so 5D. You could totally spit on me and I'd offer you a napkin because I'm so evolved. No, that's not evolved. Remember, so many stories have been removed from the Bible, accounts of Jesus' life. Despite all the things they removed, there's still a very well-known story of how he flipped the fucking tables, seeing what the Pharisees had done. The Pharisees being those in power, the spiritual leaders. The spiritual leaders, even in this time, are behaving much like the Pharisees. Blasphemy, fucking blasphemers, teaching bastardized words. I don't think so. You are powerful in your own right. You do not need a guru. You do not need someone who will validate you in a way that further amplifies their ego. Fuck that shit. You are my fucking equal. There's nothing I can't teach you that you can't teach me too. Fuck that shit. No fucking pedestals. Take them down from their pedestals. Tear up the pedestals and use that for the fire. What fire, Emmy? The fire of fucking truth that we're going to dance around naked in the moonlight. Because fuck it. No more of that shit. Own who you are. You have magic within you, regardless of what you believe. Whether you're religious, whether you're spiritual, whether you're atheist, it don't matter. It don't matter. If me as a complete stranger can believe in you in that depth, and I don't even know you, why can't you believe in yourself? Why? If I can believe in you at that depth and I know nothing about you, what makes me so different from you that you can't do that for yourself? Nothing. Nothing. I'll answer that for you. Nothing. There's no difference between us. We are made of the same. We come from the same. We will return to the same. Really, the only difference is my mindset. I've had enough people fuck with me for me to no longer care what people who are like that do, what people who are like that think. I don't care. That's not to say I don't care, period, because I care a lot. I give many, many fucks. I'm just now selective of who receives that fuck. That makes me powerful. That makes me unfuckwithable because now I'm no longer sorry that I exist as the light that I am. At what point will you stop being sorry for being a bright light in a dim room? At what point? What else needs to happen to you in your life for you to lose this need to care about the very people who don't care if you succeed? Thank you, Ariana. Not only do they not care if you succeed, they pray for your downfall. My brother and I have this joke, right? Um, he asks me all the time to stop praying for him because I'm praying the wrong things. Whenever he has some sort of medical complication, some sort of living circumstance complication, um, we get on the phone and he jokes around. He's like, "You got to stop praying for me. You're praying the wrong things. Like your intention is good there, but you're praying the wrong things." And these are some people, they'll pray for you to live in the way they believe you should live. That's not godlike. It's not. The only things in creation that try and dominate another and force you to live in accordance with what they believe are demons. That is a hard truth that needs to be heard. When you begin to believe that someone else is not living right and that your way is right, and now you have to talk to them and convince them that they need to live this way, they need to have the same opinions you have, you're being demonic. You are. Why do you think I never tell anyone what to do? I share with you what I think, but I always end it with, you need to decide for yourself. You need to use discernment, decide for yourself, what do I need right now? It's not for me to tell you what you need. I can suggest, I can share my opinions, but that's all it is, an opinion. At the end of the day, I respect your personal power over your personal journey because as a sovereign, from one sovereign to another, I must always honor your sovereign right to choose. And people say, I'm fucking demonic. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like crazy ass motherfuckers. Okay. Orange gold dragon from Arcturus. Okay. Opens you to knowledge for the new golden age. Carry the energy of the future. Be a guarding light, a guiding light. Ooh, guarding. Okay. Guarding and guiding. Be that light that people need. Okay. Be that light that people need, not because they need it, but because that's what you are. and allow them to benefit by being in your presence. Not this attempt to try and save them from their circumstance, because now you're putting more stuff in your rucksack, right? But allow them to benefit from your light by allowing them to witness your light in action. That's all you have to do. Just be, just live, just allow yourself. And that's it. That's it. And it's at that point that you step into your power. It's at that point that you really begin to understand what it means to be truly powerful. Truly powerful people do not need others to follow them. Truly powerful people who are natural born leaders have people choose on their own to follow them because their light shines so bright. It helps them to remain on their own path to their greatness, their own path to their self healing, their own path, period. I mean, yo, you have all the components you need to be this magnificent beacon of light. You have all the components you need. So start being it. Start allowing yourself to just be. Stop trying and just be. Recognize that all the lessons you need to learn will come to you at a time when you're ready to learn them, not any moment before. Oh, but I'm supposed to be at this point. Who said? That motherfucker on a fucking pedestal? I mean, how do you build pedestals? You need materials, right? So, for the people who need to be on pedestals, they have ripped away energy and components from other people in order to construct that pedestal. I wouldn't listen to someone who takes from others. I'm just saying. Fuck that shit. I would not listen to someone who has to take from other people in order to lift themselves up. I don't fucking think so. That would be the last person that I listen to, and even not then. Yeah, not then either. Okay. Nope. 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 So let's just leave it at that. I got to get going. Energy just shifted. I got to get going. Y'all don't have to be apologetic for having needs and protecting your space. You just don't. You don't. Protect your space from whatever you feel you need to protect it from. And that's just how it has to be. You don't have to allow everyone else in. Just because someone says sweet things does not mean shit. If the energy is shit, it is shit. And if I recognize I have enough bullshit in my life to cultivate my garden, I don't need to allow more shit in. Just saying. All right, I got to go, guys. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I promise at some point I will get back on TikTok and do the 1 minute readings for all the other signs. Until then, be well. Love you guys. Bye.